Hello and welcome to the Rupee Rakshak news of 15 September 2023. This is our 5th episode. I'm your host Raghu Rao, and this week we are going to bring you some latest news and some key information that can help you decide how and where to invest. Rupee Rakshak news is brought to you from the newsroom of FinMo, a SEBI registered investment advisor. Our financial advice to you is backed by extensive research into the world of mutual funds, stocks and bonds. Now let us look at the property market updates for this week. In the property market updates this week, Motilal Oswal Alternate Investments arm, Motilal Oswal Alternates, is aiming to raise its 6th real estate fund of Rs 2,000 crores. Andhra Pradesh achieves a landmark by completing land surveys in 4,000 villages, thereby making available the digital land records in future to all citizens. And SEBI has established rules for REITs and INVITs concerning board member nominations, thus significantly improving the governance of these investment trusts. As a result, now investors with 10% or more of the unit holdings in these funds are eligible to participate in the board nomination process. In the property markets from around the world this week, HSBC is increasing mortgage rates in Hong Kong, and the rates are now up from 3.625% to 4.125%. And as expected, this rate hike has resulted in a drop in all the property stocks in the Hang Seng market. So Mohan, in case of properties, if a property owner has a lot of properties, and let us assume that the property holder has not made a will and passes away, then what are the implications and how does the property move to the successor and what are the complications involved?
This question, Raghu, reminds me the second wave of COVID. A lot of people, young and old, many people died, and majority of them had good amount of properties and they had not made will. So usually lot of times the finance is never discussed with family, and particularly if it is property which involves lot of this unaccounted money, accounted money, known transaction, known names, unknown names, and everybody actually mess up when it comes to investments and they live with the mess. Unfortunate thing is when they don't live and something like COVID happened, then the whole world is struck on those families because they don't have a clue that what is actually there. For the son or the daughter or whoever the survivors to actually claim the ownership of the property, that we are the actual legal heirs, it takes years of fight to actually prove that this property belongs to me. Because you have to get first the death certificate, then you should get a succession certificate, then you should know first what property papers are there and whether that papers are in proper, and whether tax was paid regularly, and is it in his name or somebody else's name. So there are a lot of complications. Now to handle this area, it's a science to handle your property as an asset class, and in the especially developed countries, this is managed by the experts in the area, and this is called estate planning. We know real estate is estate, but estate planning is a separate science, and there are experts, highly qualified experts who understand the nuances of how to actually transfer what you have owned during your lifetime, how should you transfer it to your next generation without losing anything. One is the process of transferring and how much to give to whom, because a person would have either inherited the property or he would have earned during his lifetime. So either it could be swayarjita or it could be pitrarjita, self-acquired or inherited. So it is very, very important this as a subject. If someone has even one property, if you have more than one property, definitely you should look at segregating all these things, understand what papers you have and make sure you write a will. And it is not difficult to do all these things. In less than 15,000 to 20,000 rupees, you can set right most of the things. If you go to big names and all, they may charge you 1 lakh, 2 lakh rupees, but a decent, in fact, we have done it for most of our clients. A lot of our clients, especially if they are more than 50 years of age, not only living will, we even suggest them make a GPA in somebody else's name in case something worst happens. Forget, it need not be the death, it could be a disablement where he cannot sign the paper. So, it is important to plan these things and keep these papers correctly. Also do a living will, we call it living will. And this will ensure that your hard earned money, that the inherited property, that whatever your forefathers have worked very hard and they had this, and today every square feet of land is gold. Now what should you do? You have to make sure you have the papers correct and write this, get an expert. We offer that service of estate planning. We don't do it everything ourselves. There are qualified experts on estate planning. In fact, we will be bringing one of the very senior expert to the Rupee Rakshak news very shortly, where he will address lot of things, because this is one area we feel lot of senior citizens and people who live here in Bangalore, they have properties and their kids are in US, Europe here, and they have no value for the property what the parents have. And they don't want to have time also to come and correct all these things. We see most of our NRI clients, they ask us, can you help my father-in-law, my father here, and can we dispose this property? They don't have any emotional value, but the senior people still living here, the senior citizens, they have tremendous emotional value. They don't want to sell as long as they are there. But when they are not there, there could be lot of complications. So it's very important that this area do not ignore, and make sure that you consult us or consult any estate planning expert. Come and get your all properties properly papers checked. Also make sure you write a living will, particularly if you have, even if you have your parents at 70s and 80s and they also own lot of properties, if it's not for yourself, make sure they write the will. Because there is an art of doing this entire drafting in such a way that the property can be divided in the right way, in the way the owner wants it to be distributed, and it can be very nicely legally worded, and it can be protected also. And there are private trusts that are created. If you don't want to sell your property, you can even create a private trust, entrust that responsibility to a professional to manage all your business and the properties and make sure the cash flow is given to your kith and kin. And you can do donations, you can do many things with your properties, but what is most important is it should be properly worded and you should hand it over to people whom you actually trust. It could be anybody, can be the trustee of your private trust. So many options are available in the law. So you should use those things and protect your hard-earned money. Make sure it only reaches your own kids, your own grandkids, and it does not go to a vested interest person.
So viewers, most of us invest for our financial goals as well as for our families. So if you have properties, it is important to do estate planning so that there is a clear path of inheritance for your investment. Thank you, Mohan, for sharing this important information with our viewers. Thank you.
This is a subject of very high interest to me. Thanks for asking, Raghu. Thank you.
That's the property market updates for you this week. Visit rupeerakshak.com to check out our equity, mutual fund and bonds baskets. And subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Thank you for watching Rupee Rakshak News.